Hello! I'm a tiger.
And I'm the parrot.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking to you about
The first response to
To
the love song of
J.
J. Alfred
Prufrock.
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 Who knows?
We don't know. It's a pea and a frock.
Anyway, I've got the English translation from the Italian from the beginning of the poem, and I'm going to read it to you now. If I but thought that my response were made to one perhaps returning to the world, this tongue of flame would cease to flicker. But since, up from these depths, no one has yet returned alive, if what I hear is true, I answer without the fear of being shamed.
What could that mean? Or, what does it mean? So if we look at the words, this tongue of flame,
Would
this tongue
cease
of,
to flicker.
yeah, this tongue of flame being tongue as in voice and words and things that come out, language that come out of your mouth to do with love and to do with feeling, how powerful that is. And flames being hot, being that they can scald you, but they can also warmth you.
Yeah.
So it's a bit.
So it can be good or bad.
It's a bit of a juxtaposition.
Juxtaposition. Good
Good
word
word.
there.
Yeah, I know.
And yes, our second point
About this poem is
a quote. We'll start with a quote.
Yeah.
You read it.
Of restless nights. Of restless nights being, what is it? The constant thinking.
Like, always on your mind.
Always on your,
Like, I don't know how to tell this girl how I feel. I love her, but I can't tell her. And so it's sort of restless nights. You're there, you're awake, and it's keeping you up. These feelings, these emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just a difficult feeling.
Yeah, from the inside as well.
Yeah, inside and out.
And then if we move on to the quote of Michelangelo. What is Michelangelo? Because it's referred to quite a few times in the poem, and that being that speaking of love and feelings is an art form. It's not something that comes naturally to us. We have to think and we have to process these things all the time before just jumping into it. It's something that we overthink.
Because Michelangelo, as you all know, is an artist, and it's sort of talking of Michelangelo being sort of an artist and speaking to women and telling them how you feel is an art form.
Exactly. And creating something beautiful that is understandable and recognisable by almost all. Yeah.
And fourthly, the quote, disturbing the universe.
This is a big thing, because I love this quote. Disturbing the universe, abrupting perfection.
And taking risks and jumping into the unknown.
Pretty deep shit there. Pretty deep.
So, I mean, what do you think it's saying?
Well, like the sort of jumping into the unknown, being abrupting perfection, because the universe is known to be a perfect thing. Like the world itself is perfect, and it's built up on a very complicated scale. So, disturbing the complexity and everything that's going on at that time is it's a big thing. So talking to another woman and disturbing the friendship, disturbing the whole relationship that you built up to this one moment of wanting to be together, to take that next step forward, is, I think, what J. Prufrock
is trying to say. I completely agree with you, but I'd also say sort of disturbing the universe in a way that's like the way you're feeling, sort of this Alfred person, this Prufrock man.
Prufrock.
His inner feelings and his sort of inability, is that a word?
Yeah, inability
to explain and tell this woman how he feels and how much he loves her. It's disturbing the universe. Like the universe is disturbed.
Yeah.
Literally by this man's emotions.
Yeah, because also it's almost like a godlike feeling, because the universe was, in mythological terms, a creation of the gods, and to disturb the universe, to disturb the gods,
it's pretty deep.
Is deep. It is a massive issue,
and it even sort of extends on the point that love is such a deep thing. and so meaningful.
It's so complicated as well.
And I mean, for a poem that when you read it on the first time is quite meaningless, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite a meaningful poem.
On a sort of deeper scale, which kind of leads on to aging and leaving too long, the sort of panic, running out of time.
Yeah, the quote is, "And walk upon the beach, I grow old, I grow old."
Yeah.
They are two separate quotes. And I mean, it talks about him wearing his white flannel trousers, which is traditionally what quite elderly people wear. And it is, he's running out of time.
Yeah.
He's saying, I still haven't told this woman
Exactly.
how I feel, and I'm running out of time. And sort of the walking on the beach is sort of his reflection on it. He's saying, I'm now walking on the beach and the years of my life have passed and I still haven't mustered up the courage to tell this woman.
And that's what that whole concept is that you only live once. YOLO!
YOLO!
YOLO! You only live once. So it means that there's a sort of urgency for the writer to create that perfection, that one thing that we all deep inside us all desire, and that is to find our plus one, the person we want to share the rest of our life with, but he hasn't got much time to share the rest of his life with.
And it's also the way he does it. It's not just a matter of getting the courage to tell her, it's the telling her in the art form, the Michelangelo.
Yeah, exactly, Michelangelo.
He wants to tell her so perfectly because he loves her.
But he doesn't want to disrupt that. He doesn't want to do it quickly and disturb the universe. He wants to put it all together in a perfect way that would just only ever come out with the one word yes. And that's the sort of, coming on to the sixth point, the mermaids, the reference to the mermaids, which is a sort of mythological, mystical love. Is it fake?
Is it fake?
Is it a fake love that he's going through in his mind and he's overthinking in the first place? And he talks about the mermaid songs, and those being, if you mythological again. Have you heard about the mermaid song?
Yeah.
And how that they're really, really beautiful and they draw in the sailors into the rocks.
Yeah.
And that's what they're singing about. He's saying that they're singing about something so perfect, but is it just fake? Is it what it is? Is it just him and his mind creating something that isn't actually real? Because
the way I interpret this, of course, what you're saying is, I imagine this man, he's in a conflict in his head. He's thinking, I love this woman or man, don't know, could be gay.
Don't know. Open to everything.
Open to everything. But maybe when it refers to the mythological and the mermaids and the mermaid song, it is saying, like, is this woman or man that he loves a true love? Does he actually love her, or in his head has he created this love? And is it something that can he ever tell her about this love, or is the telling of this love also a myth? Will he ever do it?
Will he ever do it? Will it ever happen? And that's the whole concept of it. It's the constant battling with yourself and battling with your questions of not being able to speak. And I think that's something else that kind of into the whole concept of this poem.
If we go into Harry Potter mythologicalness
with the Harry Potters, yes. The one desired gift.
No.
Oh.
The mermaids.
Yeah.
In that you can hear their song underwater, but not above the ground.
Yeah.
If you're a Harry Potter fan, you'll know that.
Exactly.
There you go. But is it that he does love her within, underwater? He sees her beauty, but on the outside, in reality, she is not what she seems. And can he actually love her? Does he actually love her? And we'll now move on to our seventh point. Would you like to start that one?
Which is but ends of my days and ways. See, I originally interpreted this as butt ends, as being the butt ends of a cigarette. So being that it's the dirty ends of my days, it's the dirty ends of my ways. Being that these dirty ends is, nothing else is relevant. Everything else is, it's just plain rubbish for the rest of the sort of days, but nothing is important but his love in his mind. That's the one thing that's constant. It's never ending, and that's the thing in this poem. It is constant. His love is always pronounced as constant. It's not pronounced as little bits here and there. He's always loved this woman or man. Homosexuality, open.
There we go. I mean, I really like that you thought of it like
exactly.
that. The way that I thought about it is, I mean, because when I'm dyslexic, so I don't know. I thought butt as in buttons of a cigarette was spelled with a double T.
Yeah, that's what I realised when you pointed that out to me.
But when I read it, butt ends of my days and ways, I saw it as more of he is coming. It's more of the age thing again. He's coming to the end of his life, and he hasn't told her his love. He hasn't decided. Yeah, and he's got this inner feeling, and he is coming to his death essentially. And this poem talks a lot about death and life as in a way, and in his life, in his days and his ways. Will he ever tell her how he feels? Will he ever muster up the courage? Can he ever do it?
See, again, you can also interpret that to be a form of rejection, his fears of rejection. But ends of my days and ways being that if he is rejected, that is the end of all. That is, his whole life plan is abrupted.
Because
the destruction of the universe is coming back. Michelangelo can't paint. Everything has gone upside down. His world has ended. There is no point to him living. That's why it's the end of his days and ways. That's my sort of... That's a sort of different spin on it, listening to the sort of like, because I completely agree with what you're saying. It's like an extra spin on top of...
Because the poem is literally going through his age. It starts when he's young and gets to when he's old. And maybe it is saying that when it ends, when she rejects him, if she rejects him, which is his fear probably, that will be the end of his life. He'll just die.
Alone.
Because
so
he's lived his life. His purpose of life was to tell her his feelings, but he never did it, and it's just so sad.
So to conclude, this poem is about expression and the feeling of not being able to express love. So yeah, it's a deep, meaningful poem with so many different levels that probably you need to read it once or twice to fully understand what's going on. But actually, analysing it, reading it with both of us together, has actually it's increased my love for this poem. I actually like it.
Yeah, well, when you read it by yourself, or even when it's read aloud, it becomes a lot clearer. But when you read it with someone else and you talk about it, everything becomes so much clearer.
All interlinked, and all of the different ideas all come into play, and it becomes this big, mad mess, interlinking knots or whatnot, which is the presenting of your feelings and love.
And so, from me and him, we are both looking forward to exploring this not being able to express your love. And it's farewell from the tiger
and the parrot.